Welcome back to 20 Somethings TV. I'm Amelia, and I'm joined by Lionel, Macy, and Brian this week, while we are going to discuss some hopefully lighter topics about pop culture and kind of what's going on in the holiday season. So first off, maybe the least holiday topic, Lionel has some very exciting cinematic news for all of us. So Lionel, why don't you tell everybody what's going on?
Thank you very much, Amelia. Yeah, all right, guys. I've got some of the best news, maybe the best news all year since Parasite won the Oscars for movies. Um, Now, get this. I don't know if we've got any Spider-Man fans here, anybody who grew up with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. But for those of us who did, today's a very exciting day because Alfred Molina, who you might know as Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man 2, has been announced as slated to return in the upcoming Tom Holland MCU Spider-Man movie. So that is very exciting and very unexpected. Um, for those of you who don't know, Dr. Octopus was the villain in Spider-Man 2, one of the most celebrated superhero movies ever, and that was a different franchise than the current Tom Holland, like Marvel Cinematic Universe franchise. So we're looking at some kind of crossover going on here, maybe some kind of Spider-Verse. There's even speculation that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, the previous two Spider-Men, might be coming back for this. So that's some pretty crazy news.
I heard
Amelia,
that
what do you
too.
think of this?
I heard that too, so I'm very excited. I don't know if anyone else watched Into the Spider-Verse, the cartoon film that came out. I thought that was excellent. And I just think it's really interesting because generally, when we see these films and these franchises, whenever they decide to do a new project or new take on a classic, they bring in new actors, which is just kind of what we've kind of come to do. So the fact that they're continuing is definitely, I think, leads towards the idea of the Spider-Verse. But I also think it's really interesting. Like, I would be so honored if I was the actor that I was like, you played this so well that we're going to bring you into the new franchise too. Like, we're not even going to try to like go a different direction. Like, I think that's kind of cool and groundbreaking as well.
I completely agree. It was just such a legendary performance. And don't forget that Alfred Molina goes all the way back to the first Indiana Jones movie in terms of his acting career. He was Satipo in Raiders of the Lost Ark, who's the guy that Indy, raids the, not the tomb, but when he gets the idol in the beginning, that guy is Dr. Octopus. So this guy's had a wonderful film career, and it's so exciting getting to see the spotlight on him again after all this time. So I am just so excited.
Yes. Macy, Brian, are you guys big Spider-Man fans? Is this going to be enough? Is me and Lionel's enthusiasm going to be enough to make you want to see the new movie, or?
Um, I grew up with Batman. My dad's obsessed with Batman, huge collector of it. So I wasn't really exposed to a lot of Spider-Man, but it sounds interesting and it's obviously got to be that great that they brought in such an amazing actor like to return and everything. So maybe I'll ask my dad his opinion on it and see if we'll go see it together.
Definitely.
I find it pretty cool how like old things that we used to like back then are coming back because I used to watch the original Spider-Man like the first one, but I for some strange reason I don't think I watched the second one. I think I just watched the first and the third Spider-Man, and then from there I just watched like the Amazing Spider-Man. And then the last kind of sort of the spin-off Spider-Man was Venom, which was pretty cool. But I think it's pretty cool like they're bringing it back just because like fans are like, oh, can we bring back this, we want to see come some kind of like, oh, what happened to spin-off, like how like, and it's pretty interesting how like, oh, he came back. Well, to me, I'm like, wait, I didn't watch the second Spider-Man, so I'm kind of curious, like, big fuss. Anyway, I'd be down to look back into it.
We'll definitely keep everybody updated if we hear any more exciting movie news. Moving on to maybe not film cast, but a very beloved television show when we were all growing up has to be Full House. So obviously, I think most of us know, earlier this year there was a big scandal with a lot of celebrities being caught with basically paying their children's way into school and getting them in and accepted to these universities that they otherwise wouldn't have merited on their own. And so a big name in the scandal was, of course, Lori Loughlin from Full House. and she got both her daughters in to the University of Southern California. They paid over $500,000 to get the girls in, and then to like cover it up, they basically said that they were, like crew team recruits, which is they had never even, I think like rode before. So that's, you know, always great. So that story's kind of been on the back burner for a while, but they pled not guilty, and then eventually they pled guilty. One of the daughters, Olivia Jade, actually came forward to the series that's called The Red Table this week, and she kind of broke her silence on it. She admitted that she agrees that she's the poster child for white privilege, but she's arguing the fact that she thinks she deserves a second chance. She describes this whole lawsuit as being very eye-opening to her ways, and is basically making her case that like people shouldn't hold it against her because she's only 21 and she has her whole life ahead of her. So I was listening, as you do, to Dr. Phil's podcast, and they were talking about this case, and they were talking about whether or not these kids, I say kids, but they're basically adults, should be basically held responsible for their part in this conspiracy, considering they took the pictures of themselves pretending to be, crew team members and like having this experience, and they were knowingly part of getting into these schools illegally. Do you guys think that they should be, going to jail like their parents are, or, being fined, or do you think that the parents should just take the bulk of the fall for that?
I think they should be sent to labor camps to try and understand in like 1 ounce of the working class. I think this is like Hollywood elitism and corruption at its most repulsive, and I have no empathy for these people whatsoever. I think it's spitting on the face of every student who has worked hard to get where they are now. Just completely disgusting. So I think they should go like work with their hands in like a factory in the Midwest or something. If they want anybody, if they want to be sincere at all, but they're not sincere. All they care about is money and attention. So I say f them.
Clear and concise.
Yeah, a little kind of adding on to Lionel, maybe not the last part, but they're 21 and they're basically adults, so they had the right to back out if they thought it was completely wrong. And now that they're being caught, I believe that they're just trying to like be like kind of like the victim, saying like I'm only 21, I have the whole life my whole life ahead of me. I'm like, then why'd you choose this decision? Like why'd you make this decision? Like you're an adult, you're old enough to make your own decisions, and if you solemnly knew it was wrong from the beginning, why do it? It's such a risky like idea to do.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree with these two because, like, knowing the fact that they're age, 21, I believe that like they should just be like maybe like I guess like maybe a small community service, like just small choice, but at the same time, like they have so much ahead that's going on for them that like this is like this boundary that they're dealing with is like holding off, which kind of sucks. But knowing the fact that like it just sucks to see their parents go to jail, but like these two like waiting for the decided. But in my opinion, like the person should not be in jail at that age because it's just I just think this is not a big like a crime scene, like it's not a big like like oh it's a fraud or something like that. So.
Well, it is a fraud because they took spots away from students who actually had merited their way to get into the school.
I would also just to butt in. I would argue that this is part of a much bigger systemic problem in America of the 1% getting away with murder and doing whatever the hell they please because they've got money. And especially these people, like, yeah, we grew up with Full House. We like Full House. Whoop-de-do. But what have these people actually done for society? What have they done for literally anybody but themselves? Probably nothing. So I don't think we should just slap them off on the wrist because they're young and pretty. I think if they want any chance at like becoming actual human beings who like have to struggle for what they want, then I think that's just impossible for them. I think they're shallow, vapid people.
Someone in the audience asked, what did they do? Like, what was their part in it? So basically, the parents, they paid that $500,000, basically $500,000 to get to someone basically on the admissions board or someone that worked there to, like, kind of sneak their way in. But the daughters, in this particular case, they were, they did the whole photo shoot to make it seem like they were rowers, and to like attach to their applications, and they knew that what their parents were, uh, you know, trying to do on their behalf. So, and just some other fun details is that I say they paid that $500,000 of bribe money, basically. The fines that they're facing, as repercussions, Lori's has to pay a $150,000 fine, and her husband has to pay a $250,000 fine, and together that still does not equal the amount that they even paid in bribe money. So to me, I think that's pretty weak. They're serving 2 months in jail and 5 months in 2 months in prison and 5 months in prison, I can't talk today, respectively. And then they're being like supervised and they have to do some community service, but like that seems like such, like, I think if anyone else did that, it would be a much heftier punishment. So things to think about. So we just talked about corruption. I promised that we were going to try to keep it light this week, so we're going to move a little bit more in the merry direction. Christmas is coming. Hanukkah starts Friday. Festivus, where we have all the holidays of the season coming up. And so, Brian, how were we doing that this year? What's going on?
So, actually, well, the thing is, there is one thing that's trying to hold us back from Christmas, and obviously that is COVID, which is an issue going on right now. So my concerns is that, like, ever since we had Thanksgiving, we had a lot of COVID-19 cases that are surging up to the sky in some states where, as usual, health officials have warned us about traveling during Thanksgiving. And then as people, didn't care about it, they still went to traveling, they want to still see their families for seeing the holidays, And this caused like some states like California to go under lockdown again. And then now apparently Rhode Island's now #1 in the COVID-19 surge of the state. So that is pretty shocking. So not gonna lie. And Dr. Fauci, he said that the Christmas could bring another spike in just like in Thanksgiving, which is going to be concerning because, not too many people do not want to follow protocol. I get it. You still want to see your families for the holidays, and, you can't skip a holiday even for a time like this.
I could
And he'd
skip a
understand.
holiday if it meant saving lives.
Yeah, I would probably like do a Zoom. I would probably do like a Zoom to see some of my families like out of the country. But like in my opinion, though, like I feel like he doesn't want to shut down traveling. He doesn't want to shut it down because it's gonna like cause like business to go down, and everything. But we need to be more critical, the mask wearing while we're doing this, while we're doing the traveling situation. And not only that, it's winter season, so COVID is like the high case for winter. But not only that, you're also combining the flu and the cold season as well. And so, as I said before, Rhode Island is now #1 in the state, so that sucks. And now they say it's now 67,000 positive cases in Rhode Island, leaving 1,470 deaths. And I believe this is caused by the Thanksgiving traveling. And right now, Rhode Island is in week 2 of the Rhode Island pause, and Governor Jeter is deciding on whether or not should extend the pause or not, just so we could ease up the spike in cases to go down before Christmas happens. So I want to ask you guys this: will this 2-week pause continue to happen during will Governor Jeter decide to could extend the pause up to Christmas or even after Christmas, like New Year's? What do you guys think?
Well, I think extending the pause is inevitable. I think, I say this, I feel like I say this literally every week, but, if people wanted to be together with their loved ones for the holidays, they needed to start acting in the summertime, and nobody wanted to do that. People didn't want to do it at Thanksgiving. Here we are. It's not, you said it was shocking, Brian. I don't think it's shocking at all. I'm not surprised that Rhode Island all of a sudden is the worst because people, got very comfortable with the fact that we were doing so well, and because they didn't see COVID, they didn't believe COVID, and therefore they lived their lives like they would have. So now we're sort of in the situation. So I think, there's a very high chance that the pause is going to continue and that you're not going to be allowed to leave your house on Christmas. So if that happens, is everyone going to stay put? Is everyone going to listen and, not have a family gathering outside of the people you already live with?
Lionel, Macy, any suggestions? Like any, what do you guys think?
It's really tough with COVID right now. I think there's no easy solution to it. I wish people would kind of follow the guidelines more, but as far as the holidays go, you know, I just think realistically, I'm not saying it's a good thing or I'm not trying to excuse behavior, but I feel like people are gonna go and like be with their families, even if they're, on opposite ends of the country. I think we're gonna have a really hard time trying to tell people otherwise.
Yeah, I agree. I believe people kind of think like, well, it's not going to happen to my family, so I don't think it's gonna, I don't think it's a big issue. So, oh, Michael's back.
He's back.
And and I believe that people are just gonna kind of think of their priorities before anyone else's, which is kind of like not, it's not what we need right now, especially during this tough time. I see like on TV, like commercials and TV, like everyone's like supporting like video chatting on holidays and like mailing your presents instead of hand giving them. Like it's still, I feel like as long as you are in like the presence of your family members over the phone or not, it's still going to be a special holiday. So it's just this, so hopefully one time that we have to do this and people just won't give it up for this one time.
Let's ask Michael. Michael, are you gonna just stay to the family that lives in your house for Christmas?
Yeah, so that's what we did for Thanksgiving too, and it brought a lot of tears because it was the first Thanksgiving in like 50 something years. My mom didn't have other parents, and it made my grandma upset too. But we're planning on doing the same thing for Christmas. You might as well just suck it up now so we can, hopefully have years of normal holidays ahead. So yes.
But there are still people that are making the season merry and bright for us to be socially distanced. Macy, tell us the one thing that's really the bright spot of this whole episode, pun intended.
Well, I know that in Exeter, it's right on 10 Rod Road, so it's about, I'd say, around campus would be like 15, not even minutes. It's a little holiday free, it's kind of like a light show, but like with lights and like blow ups, mostly blow ups, like the holiday blow ups. Um, their driveway is the kind of like road that it'd be on because it's such a like long driveway. So you just go up, you loop around, and there's about like 40 to 50 blow ups here. I was gonna go Saturday, but it was terrible weather. So me and my roommate went Sunday, and it was really cute. The line was down the road, so people love it. I think it's a great way of like spreading holiday cheer from your car, all safe, not near anyone. And the blow ups were so cute. It just like it felt like Christmas kind of for the first time to me. And it also helps because like I usually go to La Salette in Attleboro, Mass, with my dad like every year, and you can still go, but they're like really raising their prices this year. So we didn't decide to go to that. So I decided to like replace that tradition with like this one. It's cute, it's free, and honestly, pray for their electrical bill because there's a lot of lights. But I was gonna ask you guys, what else have you seen people do to spread holiday cheer during this tough time? Obviously, COVID friendly, or have you guys heard of anyone doing anything like that?
So if there's one thing I am familiar with that I definitely want to check out the one Exeter. I believe that sounds pretty cool. I heard that in Gillette Stadium, like I think around that area they're having that similar light, like their light festival similar towards the one Exeter. And I know my sister, my brother-in-law went, and I believe that I should also be myself should check it out as well with my family before after finals ends, just because it's still a good, unique way to still celebrate Christmas, even in a car, just looking at lights and just that it's a family time. It's just a good way to spread holiday cheer, just watching an amazing light show.
I think it's another like avenue for us to just again kind of maintain some sort of normalcy. We had the birthday parades during the first lockdown that were like kind of making up for children's lost birthday parties. And I know Halloween I did like the drive-through pumpkin thing at Roger Williams. Usually it's a walk-through thing, but they charged per car and you drove through it. Similar to the lights thing now. I have one bookmarked on my computer, and this one, well, I'm actually curious. What do you think? It's a drive-through lights thing. I think it's 2.5 miles long, but it's in New Hampshire. Am I allowed to drive to New Hampshire even though I'm not getting out of my car?
If you bring a negative COVID test and keep it with you, I think.
Listen,
Maybe.
my brain got poked 20 minutes ago. It better be negative. So I don't know. That's something that I wonder. It's the same like concept of am I allowed to cross lines into Massachusetts to go do my shopping in Seacon because that's close to home. So I'm thinking like if you don't get out of your car, it shouldn't matter, right?
Yeah, I think so. I just meant like to be safe in case anyone like asked you. You could be like, listen, I'm not getting out of my car and I have this, like just as like a backup. But
Right.
I think it's important to find these new traditions, like Macy said, and it's my grandma told me today that she's not really going to be putting up any of her Christmas decorations because it doesn't really feel like Christmas. And I think, this is the holiday season to embrace the holidays more than ever, that we need that kind of hope and joy, how we can get it. So, protect your mental health, everybody. Look at a Christmas garland. Just look at it and like bask in it. That's what I think. That is actually our last topic of the week. So I think we're gonna go film some advice with Michael, and now that he's here, and so be sure to go check out that video as well. Follow us on Instagram, check us out on YouTube, and we will be back with you next week. So thanks for watching, everybody.